সত্যজিৎ রায়ের জন্মদিন উপলক্ষে দি উন্মুক্ত সোলস নিবেদন করছে নায়ক, গল্প পাঠে এবং অরিন্দমের চরিত্রে আয়ুষ, অদিতির চরিত্রে মধুরিমা, গল্পের সূত্রধার আমি সায়ন্তনী।
I can't remember the last time I slept, Arindam muttered drunkenly. He poured himself another stiff one. Facing the giant mirror, he said, "This one is for you. I don't know if I should have played it safe." "I have questions, Shankarda. Critical questions, but you left after telling me only a fraction of my story." The shadows lengthened in his room, and even the feeble light from the designer table lamp added to the gloomy yet opulent view. "They are all scoundrels, every one of them, leeches, parasites," Arindam said. The whiskey had taken its toll. He passed out on the bed in a drunken stupor. At breakfast the next morning, things were back to normal. Arindam met his tailor, who had a new suit for him. "I can't afford to look like a ruffian. I am Arindam Mukherjee, the biggest star in Bengal. I leave for Delhi this evening and I want a decent suit before that. If necessary, you deliver it at the station and no mistakes. Did you hear?" The tailor nodded his head obsequiously. Arindam reached the station well in time. Although he was wearing dark glasses and had finally got his suit on, he was thronged by fans requesting autographs. "Stupid fools. Autograph means nothing," smirked Arindam while signing as many as he could before boarding the train. The air-conditioned first class was very comfortable for the look of it, with the railway stuff fawning over him. He finally made it to his seat. He would be sharing his compartment with an old man, a child, and her mother. The train began to move, and Arindam's journey to Delhi, where he would be felicitated, began. As the train left the Howrah station, Arindam realized that the weight of his dissolute life was traveling with him. At least he was well stocked as far whiskey was concerned. Arindam was used to this. The servility of strangers, the excessive adulation and not so innocent attention from females, both married and unmarried. Things had got rather ugly the last time. Arindam hadn't expected her husband to react quite so violently. Had she even told him that she was married? Arindam shrugged his shoulders unconsciously. He was actually glad to have got out of that one without serious harm. He really needed a cigarette now, and came out of his compartment and, walking over to the door of the coach, lit up. He tossed the cigarette away after a couple of puffs. Arindam needed something else, something beyond his usual poison. He wasn't stupid. He knew that he was bored and more. The train had gathered speed now, and nondescript stations were being left behind in a hurry as the train sped on. Arindam was a star. He often reminded himself of that, although he didn't have. There were enough reminders of his stardom all around him. However, when he told himself that he was the star, it was temporarily reassuring. Arindam had come to terms with the fact that he did not trust a single soul. He was not one especially fond of poetry. He couldn't push back William Henley's lines though. "Out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole." He quickly changed channels mentally. Reaching into his pockets, he pulled out his handkerchief and wiped the sweat from his face. He looked himself in the mirror, saw that everything was in order, and made his way back to his compartment. Arindam wanted to talk. Not dialogues, not scripted lines, but lines that would come from deep within. He was very tired. Tired of his lies, tired of being somebody else, tired of the chase, the hypocrisy, and his own escapism. He was burning up inside. Before he realized it, he had drifted off. When he woke up, the coach attendant was there to tell him that lunch had been served in the dining car. Arindam couldn't care less, but he decided to go anyway. The dining car was nearly full. Of course, there was no one at his table. Two women entered after he had sat down. They were talking to the attendant, and Arindam realized two things at the same time: that they were sisters and that they needed a table. He told the attendant that they could join him. After thank yous, they introduced themselves as sisters, which he had known ever since they entered the hall. They got talking. The elder sister was a movie buff and beside herself with elation. It was the younger sister sitting opposite him who did not display any signs of excitement. She actually asked him if she could interview him, telling him she was a budding journalist. Arindam was slightly hesitant at first. Experience had taught him that interviews could rapidly turn into interrogations. He didn't know why, but he felt safe and agreed. The young woman said she knew about him as a movie star and also said that she knew all the gossip that had been published. She wanted more. She wanted a deeper insight into Arindam Mukherjee, the man. Arindam started to talk. It was refreshing. For the first time in years, it was Arindam speaking instead of the movie star. He started at the very beginning and told her the absolute truth. His struggles with himself, his addictions, his affairs, and his vindictiveness. He told her his darkest fears about the headaches and nightmares. He told her about Shankarda, his erstwhile mentor, who had warned Arindam about the dangers of both success and failure in stardom. He also told her that perhaps Shankarda was right. Something he had never allowed himself to believe, although deep down he had known it all along. The young woman listened patiently and empathetically, making copious notes in her journal from time to time. "The rest is all in the press," said Arindam. "There you have enough dirt on me to claim a fortune. Good luck with your article." Arindam felt lighter than he had done in years. He honestly couldn't care less if the woman published the interview. It had been cathartic. Arindam felt healed. The young woman smiled at him and proceeded to tear up her notes.
Your secrets will remain only with me.
They smiled at each other. Arindam returned to his compartment. He cracked a joke with the old man and gave the sick little girl an autograph. Arindam hadn't changed suddenly. He had met himself after many years. Arindam Mukherjee, the movie star, and the Arindam Mukherjee, the lower middle class aspirant with stars in his eyes from the dingy lanes of Calcutta, had finally resolved their conflict. The real Arindam would never lose himself again. At New Delhi station, there was a crowd waiting to receive him. There were garlands and the usual fanfare. Arindam did not tune into any of that. Nodding mechanically at those attempting conversation with him, he looked around, trying to catch a glimpse of the young woman who had finally set him free. He finally saw her. She was with her family. Her sister was also there. It was a normal family. Arindam kept looking at her as they went their separate ways into very separate worlds.
শুনছিলেন সত্যজিৎ রায়ের জন্মদিন উপলক্ষে দি উন্মুক্ত সোলস নিবেদিত নায়ক। অডিও অ্যাডাপ্টেশন দেবজ্যোতি দত্ত। পোস্টার ডিজাইন উৎসা সেনগুপ্ত। এডিটস অ্যান্ড স্পেশাল এফেক্টস রনিত সরকার। আগামী রবিবার আবার আসছি সত্যজিৎ রায়ের পরিচালিত আর একটি গল্প নিয়ে। টিল দেন, স্টে টিউনড উইথ দি উন্মুক্ত সোলস।